Hey fans, welcome back to Cougar Corner. It was a great weekend for CSU athletics with softball posting an impressive 4-2 record over the weekend at the first annual Houston Sports Clinic Classic held at Cougar Field. Today we're joined with senior outfielder Keely Kennedy. Keely, welcome to Cougar Corner.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're off to a great start this year, hitting .467 through your first 7 games. What's been the key to your success so far?
Well, this summer, this being my senior year, I wanted to work really hard and just come out and have a good senior year so I leave satisfied and happy with my performance. So just going up to the plate every time I get up to bat and knowing that I'm going to get a hit, saying I'm going to get a hit when I get up to bat. So that's been, just working hard and doing what I can to perform the best I can.
Okay, well, you're off to a good start so far. Very young team, only 4 seniors, 8 sophomores. What's been the toughest part about you being thrust into that leadership role and having to provide leadership on a daily basis?
Well, I'm not much of a vocal leader, but I do try to lead by example. So just going to practice every day and doing what I'm supposed to do, and then just making sure everybody else, is doing what they can to help out as well. But just, I don't know.
Well, Keely, thanks for joining us. Best of luck tomorrow against Carson Newman.
Thank you.
Hey fans, welcome back to Cougar Corner. We're now joined by freshman catcher shortstop Casey Googe. Casey, welcome to Cougar Corner.
Thanks for having me.
You're off to a good start so far, hitting .320 through your first 7 games. Hit your first collegiate home run this past weekend. How did that feel?
It felt great. I was a little nervous at first this weekend, first big tournament for our team, and I was a little nervous being a freshman and all, but got the job done.
Yeah. Well, you're a local girl. How does it feel to be playing in front of your hometown fans?
It feels great because my parents and everyone can be here to watch me play, and it makes me a little bit more comfortable having been able to have my family there and watch our games.
Okay, well, catchers and shortstops must be vocal leaders on defense, and it's always a tough role for a true freshman. How has that been so far, being thrust into that role?
I've always been a little kind of vocal on the field, getting anxious while plays are going on. But I try to be as loud as I can, and since I'm involved in pretty much every play as a catcher, so I try to help everyone out and let everyone know what's going on and where plays need to go. So.
Okay, Casey, thanks for joining us here on Cougar Corner.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with head CSU softball coach Brad Huskisson. Hey fans, welcome back. We're now joined by head softball coach Brad Huskisson. Coach Huskisson, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Travis.
First annual Houston Sports Clinic Classic held this past weekend at Cougar Field with 13 games over a 3-day span. Got to be pretty tired and worn out from that. How did that go?
Well, we are tired. It was our first ever tournament we ever held here on campus. It went excellent. We had 5 teams, 4 other teams besides us, and 13 games over the course of 3 days. North Georgia kind of headlined the tournament, being number 2 ranked team in the country. West Alabama came in, could possibly be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the Gulf South Conference, which is always one of the toughest conferences in the country. But we had a great turnout. The field turned out. The weather was absolutely fabulous. Dr. Champ Baker, who's at Houston Sports Clinic, he got to throw out the first pitch for us. He was a big help in helping us put this tournament together. So it was a great weekend altogether.
Okay, well, you played 6 ball games. yourself, record of 4-2, 2 losses coming to West Alabama, who you spoke of, probably one of the better teams in the Gulf South, 12-11 and 7-6. And both games, your team fought back late to try to capture the victory. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, again, West Alabama's a senior-laden team. I think they got 4 or 5, 6 kids that has seen a lot of playing time over the last 4 years, so they got a lot of veterans. We're on kind of the other side. We got 4 seniors and a lot of freshmen and sophomores. And West Alabama can hit. There's no doubt about it. But the biggest thing that we take out of those 2 games, and they're tough losses, and it hurts to lose those kind of games, especially early in the year when we're trying to get off to a good start. But the number one thing I think that we take out of it, with all of our young kids and our new people that has influenced some of the returning people, we battled. I think we came back to 12-11 loss on Saturday. I think we came back 3 different times. We came from behind to either take the lead or tie, and we got off to a bad start yesterday, and I think we were down 7-2 after 3 innings. And then we fought our way back to one play to either tying or winning it. So, it's a good team. It's a good team for us to play at this point in time of the year. But again, the number one thing is it shows the toughness and the competitiveness that our kids have, and I'm proud of them for fighting.
Well, you talked a little bit about the youth that you do have on your team with 8 sophomores, 4 freshmen. How do you feel about your team so far offensively with so many young players being thrown into the fire early on?
I don't mind throwing. I've had a history. I don't care about throwing freshmen to the fire. I've always done that. The last 15 years I've had a coach. The thing about these freshmen and these sophomores and the new people, sometimes when you're thrown to the fire, there's 2 ways to react to it. You can be a passive or an aggressive style. And these kids are all aggressive. And it may get to the point right now, a little bit yesterday against West Alabama, but we might have became too aggressive. But I'd rather have my younger kids being too aggressive and have to try to lasso them back in a little bit than having to worry about trying to get them to be aggressive. So offensively, we can hit. We're aggressive. We go up there. We put the ball in play with 2 strikes. We're not going to sit and watch pitches. We're going to do. We've got enough speed. We've got different kind of options that we can use to try to get different runs. I think 3 of our first 4 runs yesterday against West Alabama didn't come by a hit. I think it came by some base running stuff and laying some bunts down. So, offensively, we're at a good spot. We're really being aggressive, which is where I want us to be, and then hopefully we can tone down and learn to mature a little bit as hitters and not be anxious. One of the things we talked about a lot yesterday was there's a difference between being too aggressive and being too anxious, and sometimes we've bordered on both sides. So that's something we'll continue to work on and we'll look to improve on in the near future.
Okay, well, we talked a little bit about West Alabama last night. Got down early, 3-0, and then fought back 3-2, and then got down 7-2. And pitching and defense held you in the ball game, the final 4 innings, to give you a chance to come back. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, we started our left-handed freshman out there, and her first start Friday night, she threw a no-hitter. And she come out yesterday, and she didn't throw the ball that bad. It's a tall task for her to make her second career start against a team like West Alabama, but she came in and she kept us where we needed to be. Then we brought Kelsey Gillum in, who the day before kind of got roughed up a little bit by West Alabama. But yeah, the Kelsey came right in the 4th inning and set the standard right off the bat, going 3 up and 3 down, and she had all her pitches working. Her curveball, screwball, rise ball, changeup was working. That kind of sparked the rest of the team. And then I think you could kind of see at that point the defense was ready to make some plays. And we made 2 or 3 great plays behind her. And then the offense kind of started chipping away. And, this team seems to be, it's early, but this team seems to be a team that's going to feed off one another, whether it's a pitching or defense or hitting. and it trickles down to the next person. And but I was really proud of Kelsey coming in after Saturday's game. And she came back and won a game Saturday afternoon, but she came back against the same team on Sunday. And I was really proud of her coming right in and slamming the door. And for the 4th through the 7th inning, she gave up 1 hit, and all 4 innings were scoreless. So she kept us right where we need to be to try to come back, and we fell a little bit short. And those things are going to happen. It's a whole lot better than getting down 7-2 and let them extend the lead and get beat 12-2. Not that a 7-6 loss is any better, but again, it shows the character of this team, that we're going to fight and we're going to continue to compete, and we're going to battle until the umpire walks off the field and tells us that the game's over.
Okay, well, little break today off, and then Carson Newman comes to town tomorrow. Another good team. What's it going to take to bounce back and beat Carson Newman?
Well, we're going to go back. One of the things we talked about last night after the game was, we're going to come back today and have a pretty light, short, quick workout. But we'll try to tell the kids that, go back to work. You come in the next day, you punch the time clock, and go back in and put your 8 hours in again and get ready to go Tuesday. So we'll do a little bit of preparation for Carson Newman, go over scouting report and that kind of stuff. But Carson Newman's a good team. I mean, Carson Newman, year in, year out, they're one of the better teams in their conferences, and they're always ranked in the top 10 in our region. They got a veteran pitcher coming back from last year. They got 3 or 4 of their top hitters coming back from last year. Carson Newman's a scrappy team. They got their coach Vicky is a great coach. Been there for a long time. Kids play hard. They do the right things, and they'll do what they have to do to win. They'll bunt, they'll drag, they'll hit home runs, and they'll dive in a fence to catch. They'll do whatever they have to do to win. They don't back down, and it's going to be a big game. It's going to get, West Alabama's games were intense this past weekend, and I expect no other than to be intense tomorrow. And it's probably a great setup. When we design the schedule with Carson Newman coming in on Tuesday, that intensity should be very, very close to what it's going to be like this coming weekend when we host our first conference game against Francis Marion. So tomorrow we hope we can do what we got to do and then repeat that for this weekend. But again, I expect it to be intense and heated and in battle for 2 games.
All right. Well, Coach, thanks for joining us here on Cougar Corner.
Thanks for having me, Travis. Enjoyed it.
Fans, first pitch is set for 1 p.m. with the second game immediately following at Cougar Field on Tuesday. Until next time, I'm your host, Travis McCall.